Hello, welcome back. So, there's another interesting story coming in from macrumors.com. Apparently, the iPhone is going to be a little less expensive this time around because of multiple factors. Now, we already discussed why optimizations in the supply chain, the cost of the motherboard getting cheaper, are a contributing factor to that lower cost price. There's also another surprising uh, bit of information there, particularly for us people in India. Now, apparently, Apple's manufacturing partner, Wistron, Wistron has started producing the iPhone 12 already somewhere in a plant, somewhere in a facility near Bangalore or Bangaluru. Now, Apple's manufacturing partner has already started hiring as many as 10,000 people in that manufacturing plant, and they've started producing the iPhone 12 already just a few months before launch. What's interesting about this is it's not the first iPhone to be launched in, not the first iPhone to be produced in India. Apple's been making iPhone SE. There are more budget phones in India. However, it is the first mainstream current generation flagship iPhone that'll be made in India. Now that's good news because there are certain uh, business initiatives, certain benefits that Apple and its manufacturing partners get by producing the iPhone in India, and one of those is the production linked incentive. Now that's a scheme which with many complicated factors, it contributes to the cost of iPhone going down, particularly in India. Now, specifically here, Apple's been struggling quite a bit. Apple has had a hard, rough time here. Now, why is that? It's because less than 1% of all smartphones in India are iPhones, and that would make a ton of sense because A, they're expensive, and B, the app ecosystem here in India for Apple is not as good. It's not nearly as good as the app ecosystem in the West. Now, that's a bad part. That's a bad situation for Apple to be in. Because, on one hand, you are not able to attract high end customers because the experience of using an iPhone, rather than the experience of using an iPhone, I should say the experience of using third party applications on an iPhone is subpar. Even quite a few first party applications, for example, Apple Pay just doesn't work. Apple Wallet is not nearly as useful in India. Newsstand, not as fancy, it's not as good. So, to escape that situation, Apple's been looking at policy innovations, looking at manufacturing process innovations to bring down the cost of the iPhone in India. Now, what does that mean for us Indian consumers? It's not going to mean a hell lot, to be real with you. It's not going to mean a hell lot in the next month after launch of the iPhone 12. It's not going to mean a lot probably in the first year. However, it is a promising sign because if this is low enough, let's assume the cost of the iPhone 12 is sub uh, 50,000 rupees. I can hope. I can hope. If it's less than 50,000 rupees, then Apple has a solid shot uh, of addressing the premium market here in India. Now, what's going to happen with that is a lot of the premium paying customers are going to switch to Apple. Uh, Rather, consider switching to Apple because between let's say the latest OnePlus phone, the flagship, not the Nord, but the latest OnePlus flagship, um, or the biggest, let's say the Pixel phone, that niche premium smartphone. segment of the Indian market. It's the Apple's iPhone is going to be a serious contender in that segment now in India. And what that's going to lead to is more developers being incentivized to create high quality apps for the iPhone. Now, from a developer's perspective, there currently isn't as much an incentive to think Apple first, or have a priority on porting your apps to iOS because the user base is so small. This might change the equation quite a bit because it's not it's not a percentage. It's not a question of percentage of the market. It's also a question of the purchasing power of the market. Now, even if Apple makes, hypothetically, let's say, in about 2 to 3 years, Apple captures uh, 10% of the market. The the iOS experience is such that they're going to end up spending more, even if they are not the majority segment of a market. So people on iOS spend more. There have been multiple case studies to verify this. So suddenly there's more incentive for app developers to make high quality apps for iOS, and that changes uh, this vicious cycle that Apple is currently in India, into a virtuous cycle. And that's going to be great for us consumers as well, because suddenly there's more competition and there's better high quality apps. So it's an absolutely positive development coming in from Bangalore. There was a couple of other interesting points that the article made. Let's look at those really quickly. Now, there has been multiple factors at play that have led to the iPhone 12 manufacturing facility being shifted to India, not least of which is the US-China trade war, and the current trend of manufacturing facilities to be more diversified. So I'm not going to say that manufacturing plants are moving away from China to India. I will say that the global manufacturing operations are becoming either more local or more resilient, because we've seen with the recent shutdown of the world economy that having all of your eggs in one basket is a terrible idea. So a lot of smart big companies are diversifying uh, where they're manufacturing their hero products, their key products. Now that puts a lot of that brings a lot of opportunities to countries like India, Vietnam, the Philippines, and most importantly, it makes the world manufacturing ecosystem more diverse. So we're probably going to see a lot more interesting products, more diverse products, and more truly global products coming in, let's say, the next 10 to 12 years once this new, more diverse ecosystem is in place. So that's been the update from macrumors.com. I'll leave a link to this article in the description. Hope you enjoyed this. Cheers, have a nice day. Bye.